DirtTrax is sponsored by Can-Am, the ride says it all. Polaris, the ultimate in off-road vehicles. Hatfield-McCoy Trails, where hundreds of miles of off-road adventure await you today. Yamaha ATVs and side-by-side vehicles, real-world tough. And by Honda. Check out the growing family of Honda ATVs and side-by-sides.
Over the past few years, I've been able to go out in the wintertime working with DirtTrax to CKMP, which is Carl Kuster's mountain park. Now, Carl Kuster is an ex-snowcross racer, which is like motocross on snow. And he was really good in his day at racing, but where his passion lies is in the mountains. Just with my past history with snowcross racing, we were able to hook up over the past few years and go out and ride in the mountains at his facility. He took us to some incredible places. I mean, we were able to see just big mountain scenery in the wintertime. We were able to ride incredibly huge slopes, slay all kinds of jumps and cool little features that you could, launch a sled off of and just have an absolute blast. But at the end of it, in my head, I'm going, what does this place look like in the summertime? I have no idea. So Carl said we should come back. So when we do adventure trips, we always want to take people along that we get along with. And Vern is a guy that I work with, and we've done trips in the past. We have a great time together and have lots of laughs. Wanted to bring him along on this because I knew it was going to be an epic trip.
You know, when AJ had invited me on this trip and I found out that we're going to be going out to the Kelowna area in British Columbia, I was pretty excited because Kelowna and that area of British Columbia is really well known for some of the most spectacular views in all of Western Canada.
One of the coolest things about being out here and heading to CKMP is the drive up. I mean, I've done it in the wintertime and it looks so nice, but I've thought about it in the summer and just sort of thought, like, this is going to be something epic, so I'm excited to do it.
I think so as well. You know, what's going to make it even better is the fact that we're going to be able to take the spiders up from Kelowna to Carl's place. I'm really looking forward to that part of it.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I had big expectations because Carl has always delivered in the wintertime big fun. I knew that at the end of the day, I would not be disappointed, and at the end of the trip, we were all going to walk away saying this was one of those memorable lifetime experiences. So Carl rides for Ski-Doo in the winter, and Ski-Doo is a BRP brand. So we thought, well, there's lots of different brands under the BRP name, one of them being Spyder. Why not make the trip from Kelowna to Carl's location using the Spyders? I haven't put much seat time in, and BRP was cool with it.
The dealership was great. Banner Recreation inside of Kelowna, they hooked us up with an RT, which is like a luxury touring Spyder, and then also an ST.
I haven't put seat time in on them prior to this for more than just, a couple of minutes here and there, but I knew I wanted to, and I wanted to get a feel for what these vehicles offered. Going from Kelowna to CKMP, there's a couple of routes you can take. One of them is all highway, and we knew on Spyders we don't want to be all highway. We want to go try some cool stuff. We found this road called West Side Road.
This is a road that meanders alongside of Lake Okanagan for about 75 kilometers. It's a road that you consider more of like a legendary aspect of like a motorcycle touring road. Lots of winding corners, descents, ascents up the hillsides as well. And you get these spectacular views off about a 400-foot cliff.
West Side Road is beautiful. It has these picturesque overlooks that just, show you right down the Okanagan Lake. We were able to zip through the twisties. Vern and I were able to, go from me being leader to him being leader and chase each other a little bit, doing it safely and staying, staggered apart enough.
They're fun. I mean, from a motorcycle standpoint, they're different. They're different from what a motorcycle rider would experience, but nonetheless, it's an altogether different experience that I think everyone needs to try.
You can't just say, hey, I've ridden a motorcycle, I know what a spider's like. And you can't say, hey, I've ridden an ATV or a snowmobile and say, I know what a spider's like. It's kind of a cross between all of those off-road sports wrapped up into one, and yet at the same time, it's super easy to do. $75K of tight twisties and really fun scenics was it was a great way to start off a trip.
DirtTrax is sponsored by Brimstone, where the journey is your reward.
So Can-Am shipped us up quite a bit of product. They sent us a couple of Mavericks and a few of the Outlander L series vehicles, which I'd never ridden before. First day was going to be all Outlanders. We knew that up on the mountain there were some tighter trails that we wouldn't be able to get to and access as easily with the Maverick. So we thought, well, let's make day one strictly Outlanders. That'll be kind of cool. CKMP is located just shy of 2 hours north of Kelowna. They're in just an amazing mountain range in the same general area as Mount Revelstoke, which is world renowned.
We start off at 1,000 feet of elevation, and then you can go up to 10,000 feet of elevation. Not very many places in North America, if anywhere, that really have that kind of a swing in elevation and have that many different types of riding.
We started off with some slower riding, and we found this cool little offshoot trail that had trees that had actually fallen down over it, which in the wintertime were probably completely covered by snow, and you would never know. We had to kind of like break through some trees and get right off the side of the bikes and duck your head down in the footwell, or you'd scrub your helmet on the trees, and it was pretty cool. I have never ridden a 450 Outlander L. It's a brand new vehicle. I've ridden the 500V twin, but I wanted to try this new motor. And I knew that this day we would put it through pretty much everything you can ever see with that vehicle. That little 450 is a stout motor. It's got all you need. And when it's got all you need at 6,300 feet, well, down at sea level, it's gonna be a good ride.
As we sort of got up towards the top, the mountain would start to clear a little bit more, and what you get into is more rock. And granite is a pretty common stone out there. And what happens is with all the slides that you get in the wintertime and the general erosion is you get these really, really big slides, rock slides.
There was a few of the spots that are a little bit narrower and probably tougher to get a side-by-side through. From 5 to about 7,300 feet. The trees start to open up as you get closer to the alpine, and then above 73 to 7,500 to 10 is open alpine and glacier.
As we broke through that shale stone, it was like we broke through a barrier of, of weather as well, because it was a little bit warmer down below. When we started out, it was about 14 degrees. When we got to the shale stone, it was about 10 degrees. And then we broke through. It was like inversion in the wintertime, except the opposite, where it's usually nice up top. It just got cold. Carl said, well, there's a little lake over here. We can stop, we can have something to eat and see if we all warm up, and then we'll go to the peak afterwards. And I kind of had the thought of, you know what? The only thing that's going to keep us warm right now is either the exhaust from these bikes or a fire.
Even though we didn't bring matches, we were able to start a fire. It was pretty humorous in terms of how we did it.
Vern was like, well, we can heat up the exhaust pipe on the bike. And I said, yeah, I brought some Kleenex to clean our goggles. So we just went at it. Vern had the Outlander L 450 do about 6,000 RPM.
Oh yeah, she's going. Go on there.
Oh, she's gonna go.
Yeah.
You need a little bit more twigs in there.
I think Carl's got the right idea here. Carl's gonna turbo our fire. Sure enough, we started up a fire, and and we've got a pretty good one going.
Within probably about 10 minutes, we had this raging fire, roasting hot dogs, eating some lunch, and yeah, it made for a pretty cool experience.
I just have to dust the snow off.
Tune in next week for the remainder of our CKMP adventure, where we'll trek to the top of Mount Quest and then continue our fun in high gear, blasting the mountain logging roads on two of Can-Am's most potent side-by-sides. And finish it all up with some fun on one of British Columbia's most well-known lakes.
DirtTrax is sponsored by Super ATV, the industry leader in aftermarket parts and accessories for the off-road market.
Around the DirtTrax World headquarters, there often becomes a vehicle that everyone fights over to take home on the weekends to do a little work around the house. And this season, I'd have to say, it's a mid-size Ranger 570. It's a great little side-by-side that packs a whole lot of punch for getting jobs done. And while it's great in its stock form, the truth is, we always like to get a little more function out of every side-by-side we have around the shop. And that's where Seismic comes into play, a relatively new parts manufacturer who designs all kinds of aftermarket accessories for nearly every side-by-side available. From their popular side-by-side mirrors to light bars to cabin closure systems, Seismic offers universal fit and application-specific products for all popular side-by-sides on the market today. Seismic's vast selection of products helps elevate your side-by-side so that you get more out of it more days of the year. And that's where the midsize 570 Ranger comes to play. With there being so many cool Seismic parts for this vehicle, we're going to kit it out with some trick gear. First up is the toolless install rear dust panel with large vinyl window. Using a rear panel will stop the air from swirling into the cab, keeping dust out. It's built from very durable UV-coated nylon, and thanks to its ultra-tight fitting Velcro securement, you can actually trailer your rig up to 65 miles an hour with the back panel on. Now, if you're going to use a back panel, you're probably going to want a windshield because they work really well together, and Seismic has a super versatile option. The VersaFlip is a very unique windshield design, as it's not just a full windshield that can be flipped down to create a lower half, but it also flips up to create an upper half windshield. The benefits of the upper half windshield are that it actually creates pressure in the cab, keeping dust out, but still allowing airflow, something you can't do with just a single flip-down windshield. With the front and back of the cab closed in, there's one more obvious addition, a door kit. But if we install a door kit and we already have our windshield and our back panel installed, we probably have to take both of those off, right? Wrong. The Seismic Midsize Ranger door kit does not require you to remove the front or back panel to install the doors. Nor does it matter what windshield, back panel, or roof you have on your midsize Ranger. It works with all designs from any manufacturer. It does this through the use of outboard tensioning straps that allow total access to the roll bar for the mounts of your roof and windshield. The door kit has a few unique features that makes it truly versatile, not just for keeping you comfortable, but also for transforming while out on the trail. Most door kits take time to remove the doors, not Seismic's kit. Doors can be removed in mere seconds and stored in the box of the side-by-side. A little too cool to take them fully off? Well, how about just the upper window? No problem. With simple Velcro removal, the upper windows come right off and can be rolled up and stored just about anywhere. With the cab of the Ranger mostly enclosed, there is a few smaller accessories that are really nice to have inside of the cab, and they're going to help you with your everyday work. The first being a rear view mirror. Simple clamp over roll bar installation means you can adjust to your preference and do so quickly and easily. The double ball joint design mixed with the wide angle convex mirror gives you the ultimate viewing area. One of my biggest gripes with side-by-sides is the lack of an interior dome light. I mean, if you're headed out early in the morning hunting or you're out riding late at night, how do you see anything inside the cab? Seismic has solved that issue with a strap-mountable battery-powered LED light. It mounts to just about anything and adds light just about anywhere. With 5 1-watt LEDs and a waterproof housing, it's the perfect interior dome light. At the end of the day, I've only shown you just a few of the accessories that Seismic makes for the midsize Ranger, so check them out and see just how custom you can make your side-by-side with Seismic accessories.
DirtTrax is sponsored by Triton Trailers. Know it, own it, haul it, and by Seismic UTV accessories. Get more done, have more fun.
When it comes time to choose a side-by-side for getting things done around your property, there are a number of important factors to consider before you lay down your hard-earned cheddar. I was recently faced with this decision, sort of. I needed to get some work done around my property and had to pick a side-by-side from the extensive DirtTrax test fleet. Seems like an awful dilemma to have, doesn't it? But let me tell you why I chose the Ranger 570. First, I picked the mid-size Ranger because of its size. They say size doesn't matter. They're wrong. The mid-size Ranger line sits directly in the middle of a standard ATV and a full-size side-by-side. The dump box is still more than adequate, and seating for 2 was all I'd really need. Getting it to my place was as easy as loading it in the back of a pickup truck, and because it's not huge, I can store it and all my other stuff in my garage all at the same time. Of course, I wanted to do a bit of exploring on some of the trails in the area, and the 570 size was a bonus there too. I was able to slip in and out of areas a full-size unit couldn't. The next reason I chose the Ranger 570 was because it's capable. I needed to haul rocks, dirt, and logs, and lots of them. With a bed capacity of 500 pounds, I didn't have to worry about loading this thing right to the top. Its 570cc ProStar mill produces 44 horsepower and buckets of low-end grunt, so even a full load of rocks couldn't slow it down one bit. If I wanted to haul even more, I could drop it in low range, hook up a trailer to its 2-inch hitch receiver, and tow up to 1,800 pounds, no problem. The third reason I felt the Ranger 570 was perfectly suited to my needs is its versatility. Yes, this vehicle is great at hauling stuff, but small features like the unlocking rear diff make it great for small tasks around your yard as well. You can haul topsoil or move lawn furniture anywhere you want without worrying about it ripping up your grass. Furthermore, with Polaris's legendary on-demand 4x4 system, 10 inches of suspension travel, and 10 inches of ground clearance, I can take the Ranger into uncharted territories without fear of it getting stuck or hung up. So the boundaries of my outback exploration are almost non-existent. The final reason I think the Ranger 570 is perfect for somebody like me is something I didn't have to consider, but you will. I wake up every day very thankful to be blessed with a cool job like this one. And I never forget not everyone gets to play with big boy toys every day for $0. The base Ranger 570 is going to set you back a healthy but affordable $9,800 at full retail. If you look at the hang tags on some of its competition, it's not hard to see why this vehicle is such a great deal. Polaris has been at this for longer than almost anyone else, and they know how to build a high-quality, long-lasting, and incredibly capable side-by-side. As a consumer, you really don't need to worry about the longevity of your investment because you know the vehicle itself is going to last. And it's a Polaris, so you know it's going to hold its value remarkably well. And now the question remains, what's not to like about the Ranger 570? Very little. If we had to nitpick, there are a few things that could make this vehicle even better though. First, it could use a tilt steering wheel. When you're just puttering around the yard, it's not a big deal, but the Ranger is capable both off and on the trail. And when you want to go for a rip to just blow off some steam, having the ability to adjust the wheel to a more comfortable position would be a huge bonus. The only other thing I can think of to improve the Ranger 570 would be to add some tie-down points inside the box. You can choose from a long list of Polaris lock and ride accessories that mount directly to the box, but when it comes to actually tying your cargo down, there's no options in the stock configuration. And that's it. I can't think of anything else I don't like about this vehicle, and I certainly can't think of anything I haven't been able to accomplish with it, or any place I haven't been able to go. It'll be a sad day when I have to give my trusty Ranger 570 back to Polaris. But after using it in the real world, the way 99% of consumers would be using their own side-by-sides, I can honestly say, if I had to spend my own hard-earned green on a vehicle for everyday use, this would be it.
DirtTrax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the ultimate in off-road vehicles. Can-Am, the ride says it all. MBRP Performance Exhaust, making power with MBRP. Arctic Cat, share our passion. And by Honda, check out the growing family of Honda ATVs and side-by-sides.
If you enjoyed this video, post a comment and let us know what you think. Then, click this link to subscribe and that link for more great videos from DirtTrax TV.